Yeah, you got me. I record a few videos on the same day. It's easier for me since none of my videos are really time sensitive or, you know, based on real time. It's more just a case of me rambling on about something or reviews or such. So I can play them anyway. You'll have to excuse me. I have a cold, so I sound a bit terrible and I may sneeze. This is my third time trying to record this particular segment. If I sneeze, I'm just going to keep going. I'm not stopping and recording it again. So this segment I thought I'd call Bear With Me. No, no, I wouldn't, because I already have a Bear With Me. This one's Bears Can Read. Bears Can Read. Well done. Get it right, Sarah. Okay, so I'm one of those weirdos that reads a few things at once. I read based on my mood. I can't read one book from start to finish and then start another one. I just can't. And I'm also one of those people that has to be pulled in the first kind of few pages or I just won't bother. Most of my books tend to be supernatural books, books with vampires or werewolves or zombies, some sort of supernatural or superhero element to them. I also like to read humor. I really like to read humor books. Um, I'm not going to name all my comics because I get a small stack of comics on a monthly basis, and there's about 8 or 10 in that. They're small. I read them very quickly, and because I read so weirdly in lots of different types of things or lots of different books at a time, that's why I like comics because there's a few different stories there and you can just run with it. I also read in a few different platforms, mostly just because I like to base my mood is kind of on that as well. So sometimes I want to read an actual book and sometimes I just want to read a Kindle. So I have the Kindle app on my phone. I had a Kindle, but I sold it because I needed the money at the time. But then I got a really good phone not that long ago with a really big screen on it. So Kindle sorted. On my Kindle app at the moment, I am reading a comic series called Chew. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this one is because I'm actually reading the trades of it, which are about 6 comics in each one. I'm not entirely sure how many there's in it, but Chew is really good. The character is a Chibopath, which basically means that he gets psychic images from anything that he eats. So if he's eating carrots, he'll get like the image of where the carrot was in the ground and whereabouts in the ground he was, geographically, and the farmer who watered him, and so on. He is a detective, so I can guess you can figure out where that goes. It's a really good series. I'm just about to start number 4. So that'd be one. On my Kindle app, I'm also reading the book. Now, it will take me years to read this because it's so big and so heavy, but I decided that I should really just read H.P. Lovecraft because I like that style of, I like the games set around that time. I have Elder Signs, which is one, which is quite a good game. So I figured I would read it at some point. It'll take me forever, but I'll read a bit and then I'll go back to it and so on. I also have another reading app on my phone, which I like to use when my eyes are feeling really strained. I have light sensitivity with my migraines. So this one has like a kind of a brown backing on it and it's less harsh on the eyes. On that, I'm reading the second Myra Grant book called Deadline. It's a zombie book and it's basically set in the future, but it's set kind of from like a blogging perspective where blogging is the main source of news. So that is that one. And I'm also reading the second book in the Divergent trilogy called Allegiant. I just started that. I read the first one pretty quickly. I think I read it in about 3 days. It's pretty good. I wasn't going to read it, and then I found out that the guy who played Jack McClane in Die Hard 5, is one of the characters in it, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna have to watch it now. So I figured I might as well read the book before I watch it. So they are the books that I'm reading on actual apps to read them, basically digital books. The next one I'm reading The Walking Dead. Now, obviously, this is backwards and you can't read it, but this is The Walking Dead volumes. My mom sends me these every so often as birthday or Christmas presents. There is 8 in the series, so I have like 4 of them now. This is book 2. I'm on book 2 at the moment because I watched the series. I'm really slow reading the comics, but I'm about halfway through this. So, and I have the next 2 to keep me going. So, That is The Walking Dead, and everybody knows what The Walking Dead is about. It is about zombies, and so on and so forth. The next one I'm reading is a book. This is a mini series. There's 3 books in this series. This one is called White Trash Zombie Apocalypse. Basically, they're the White Trash Zombie series. It's basically about Angel Crawford. She was kind of a deadbeat, and she becomes a zombie, and then, but she's the kind of zombie where you just have to eat brains every few days so that but you function normally as a human. But if she doesn't get them every few days, she starts to degrade. So it's actually fun and light and fluffy, even though it's zombies, but it's very enjoyable to read. And then the last thing that I'm reading at the moment, or at least the last thing I can think of that I'm reading at the moment, actually that is not true. I'm also reading Skullduggery Pleasant for the second time. I read it a few years ago, only read about half of it, and then forgot all about it and forgot most of the story, but wanted to read it again. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through it now. That was about 3 months ago, though. Like I said, I forget. But I am reading that, so I will eventually finish that too. Skullduggery Pleasant is a skeleton detective, and there is magic in it, and it's basically a young adult book. But I am a child most of the time, so that suits my style. And then the last one is a book that I got for Christmas, and I read a little bit at a time because I don't want to burn through it and have none left to read. But it is basically Why Grizzly Bears Wear Underpants. It is an oatmeal book. The oatmeal is a website where Matthew Ingram writes some of the funniest things you will ever read, and he has some of the funniest illustrations to go with them. He is just, I find it very entertaining to read, and this is one of his books, and it's basically, obviously, the reasons why grizzly bears should wear underpants. And other stories, but they're very brightly colored, and the illustrations are they're hilarious. And I got this as a Christmas present, and it pains me not to try and read the whole way through it, but I want to keep it. I don't want to run out of it. He's got 3 other books, so I will get them eventually. He's got one called Is Your Cat Plotting to Kill You? If it's my cat, it is. He wants to try and suffocate me because I'm made of worm. But that's it. What I'll do is when I do these videos, I'll do an update at the start of if I managed to finish any of those or whether I started reading more. And that's why I figure I'll maybe do it every 3 weeks or so, maybe every month. Because I'm really slow at reading sometimes. There'll be months where I read very, very slowly, and there will be months where I will burn through books like it's going out of style. That's basically it. Okay, that is it for Bears Can Read. Okay, bye guys.